The word theme means the main idea or a message that a story or a piece of writing is trying to share or deliver. So imagine you have a favorite storybook where a hero goes on this very exciting adventure, and the main theme of that book would be bravery, because it has taken the character great courage to go on this adventure. So that would be the main lesson or an important idea that the story is trying to share or deliver. I'll now be going through some key themes of Mice and Men. So the first one is the friendship between George and Lenny. George and Lenny both share a very close and a very unique friendship that stands out in this very tough world of migrant workers. Lenny, he depends on George for guidance because of his mental disability, while George needs that companionship and a source and a sense of purpose. Their bond is built on mutual care and responsibility, which is quite unusual in their lonely work. George feels a sense of responsibility to take care of Lenny, despite him getting quite frustrated at times. He knows that Lenny is loyal to him and that their relationship it gives them something that most characters don't really have, and that is someone to take care of. George and Lenny's dream of owning a small piece of land, it keeps them hopeful and it strengthens their friendship. The dream represents their desire for stability and companionship, which is something that the other characters like, and they have no real desire of changing their situation or the circumstances. The novel's ending shows how fragile their friendship is in this very harsh world. George makes the heartbreaking decision to kill Lenny to protect him from a much worse fate, and this act highlights the deep loneliness George will face without his friend Lenny. While George and Lenny have each other, most of the other characters in Of Mice and Men are deeply lonely too. For example, Curly's wife, she experiences gender isolation. She's the only woman on the ranch, and she's isolated because she's a female. She's lonely and tries to connect with the men, but they see her as nothing but trouble. Her loneliness and lost dreams lead to her tragic death. Crooks faces racial isolation. He is a black stable hand, or in other words, a black worker. He lives alone and he's separated from the others. Despite him being quite bitter, he longs for companionship, and it affects his everyday life. Candy is the old ranch hand, and his fear is that he will become useless. His dog is sadly killed and shot by another worker, which symbolizes his own fear of being discarded. He clings onto George and Lenny and their dream of escaping this loneliness and finding security and stability in his old age. Loneliness is a major theme throughout the novel, and it affects almost every single character. The novel shows that loneliness is common, especially during Great Depression. The workers are rootless and they're disconnected, moving from job to job without being able to form those long-lasting relationships, which are very, very important. Loneliness often leads to sadness and even cruelty. Characters like Curly and Crooks become quite aggressive and they become quite bitter because they lack those meaningful connections. Curly's wife's loneliness drives her to seek attention, and this then leads to her death. Rare companionship. The novel suggests that true friendship is rare and it's very, very fragile. Even the strong bond between George and Lenny, it could not survive the harsh realities. And other characters, they remained isolated and they held on to this hope that something better was waiting to happen.